Yo, my brother. So, I was reading a very, very old YouTube script that I wrote for my past channel that completely failed. And so I thought I would use the wisdom of past Benjamin onto this channel. So, the cure to overthinking. Now, from reading this old transcript of a script back when I used to write scripts and read them word for word because I was an absolute neek, I wrote down about an experience I had, about how overthinking could have destroyed me. And it was doing some karaoke at my college. And there was about 100 plus people in the courtyard. I had decided to sing Hound Dog by Elvis Presley. And as my name got called up to the stage, my heart began pounding. My mind started to have a different, complete 100 billion thoughts at once. And I could have just stopped there, refused to go on stage, and just kept comfortable. Because this is what your mind does. Your mind is trying to keep you alive, but it is not letting you live. And this is the curse of overthinking. Now, overthinking, from a survival standpoint, is very, very good because if we plainly... And this is why there's so many stupid people these days, because it's crazy how you can be an overthinker, think so many thoughts at once, but yet there's people who are absolutely brain dead, who you could absolutely destroy in any human endeavor, but yet they're more successful than you. You've probably experienced this in your life. I certainly have. It was specifically shown to me when I was starting to learn how to drive. There were guys who, from my class or whatever, and I don't mean to insult their intelligence or any people that I know, but they were just one of those kinds of people. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they were able to pass their driving test in a couple of months. It took me a year to pass my driving test, to not only, and this was combined with the fact that driving tests in the UK take forever to book and there's months and months of waiting lists, but I started to learn how to drive in January 2023, and I did not pass my test until September 2024. And the one thing that I can attribute to the fact it took me so long was my overthinking. I would overthink about which lane to select. I would overthink about driving into something and causing a crash. I would overthink about having enough brake and braking in time. I would overthink about doing the speed limit. I would overthink about the fact my hands were sweating on the steering wheel and I very embarrassingly had to buy driving gloves because my sweat started to destroy the driving instructor's steering wheel. I was overthinking all the time. And I could have avoided that if I had just acknowledged the overthinking, but not let it get to me. If I had the overthinking, because a lot of people want to switch their overthinking off, and you can't. I know there's people out there who just don't seem to overthink and only have like white noise going on their brain. But if you turn off your overthinking, you're rejecting your own intelligence. Because think about it, if we were cavemen, if we were in the woods, overthinking would help us a bit. Now, not to the point of you were overthinking about, whether or not I should hunt this animal or stay in this place, because if you overthought too much, you'd just starve to death or freeze or whatever. But overthinking can stop us making stupid decisions. If we overthink, if we have too many thoughts going on at once, it might prevent us from doing something stupid. Heck, my overthinking in that situation with the karaoke could have prevented social embarrassment. Maybe I would have got up on stage and fallen over. Maybe people would have just started calling me names and people would have thought that I'm just a complete social reject. But here's what actually happened. I acknowledged the overthinking, but I threw myself in the situation. I programmed my legs to walk onto that stage. And it would have been more embarrassing for me to start singing and then suddenly walk off the stage. It would have been more embarrassing for me to be so nervous and not get immersed in the music that I would have actually fallen over. What ended up happening, as soon as I started doing the action, as soon as I started singing and dancing to Elvis Presley Hound Dog, the crowd went wild. People were clapping, people were children, everyone was cheering. People grabbed their phones, started recording me. And for a couple of weeks in college, I was known as Elvis. I had random people calling me Elvis. I had girls coming up to me, although I was still socially awkward back then. And I still couldn't speak English to this day. I was still socially awkward, didn't know how to react, but it was crazy. I was finally being noticed by people. I had broken down every preconceived notion that people had of me. And had I allowed my overthinking to take over, I wouldn't have had such fantastic growth. And I know the title of this video is The Cure to Overthinking, but there is no cure. You can't get rid of overthinking. It's like the common cold, but we can manage the symptoms. For example, you are very sick right now because you're not subscribed to the channel. No, you're very sick with overthinking. If you were sick with a cold, I can't just inject you with something that gets rid of it. You have to treat the runny nose, the redness, you steam, whatever it is that your parents tell you to do that doesn't seem to work when you have a cold. You just need to get on with it. You can have these overthinking thoughts. We can't switch them off. And they may have been many situations where they've stopped you doing what you want to do. But confidence is overthinking. Courage is feeling the fear and doing the action anyway. It's okay to overthink. It is not okay to let the overthinking control you. If we allow this overthinking to dictate our lives instead of us dictating our own lives, we will get nowhere. We will starve to death. We will be paralyzed with fear. And that's what I did in that situation with the karaoke. I just walked onto the stage, and it's the same situation where you're thinking about applying something, or you see a cute girl. The overthinking seems to stop when you start doing it. And it may be the case for some of you that you're still overthinking, but how proud are you going to be with yourself when you approach that girl, when you go for that job opportunity, when you sing in front of tons of people? You have the desire to do it. Your overthinking is preventing you from doing it. But that doesn't mean you have to listen to the overthinking. The overthinking is simply a defense mechanism, because our bodies don't know our nervous system is the same nervous system that we had 10,000 years ago. So your body doesn't know the difference between facing off with a predator, with a saber-toothed tiger, and giving a speech in front of your class. Isn't it crazy? Your heart's still pounding in those situations. Your palms might be sweaty, mom spaghetti, Eminem. You might still be very nervous. You might be physically shaking. You might be stuttering your words, as I am, and speaking really fast. But do we have to adhere to that? Do we have to listen to what our body is saying and actually listen to our mind? Because in the beginning, we're going to be nervous. Even though I have performed in front of people several times, any time I get up to sing and dance, do my little Elvis gyrations, my heart is still pounding. I'm still getting those thoughts, those overthinking. But I'm able to breeze past it. I'm able to be at ease and be comfortable with these feelings instead of emphasizing them and making them worse. Because if you're overthinking and you're starting to wanting to get rid of that overthinking, that's another thought you've added on. And oh no, I'm overthinking about overthinking. So what am I going to do? You're going to be a complete mess. So, shut your damn brain off. Actually do what you want to do. And you may be frustrated with this answer, bro, but overthinking doesn't need to be cured. It just needs to be managed. Allow your overthinking to be there, but don't use it as your compass. Sure, it was good thousands of years ago when we lived in the jungle, but we're not going to get mauled by saber-toothed tigers anymore. So stop overthinking. You know how to be alive, so it's time to start living. Woo! Hope you've enjoyed this video, bro. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. God bless, and as always, you take a very good care of yourself. Mwah.